I can start if you want.
Go for it.
Having a freshman in Argijo be the leadoff hitter,
Sure.
you can see her speed. You've used her several times to steal bases. Did you expect for her to have this kind of impact?
Yeah, from the get-go, I think she's just getting started. I think she has a lot left in her tank, a lot to learn. So continuing to talk to her about her approach, how to see pitches, how to lay off pitches. Her job ultimately is to get on base. So that's something we're definitely going to work on this week with her, and just continue to find ways to get on base. It doesn't always have to be a hit. Just has to, she can walk, she can do a lot of different things, put pressure on the defense. So a lot of good things from her, but a lot of growth still to come for C. So.
You get another home series, which, as much as we talked about last year with starting the first 6 weeks on the road, like, I imagine that just at the end of it just felt like such a grind and a marathon. Mm-hmm. What does it feel like to have some home games early on in February?
Yeah, it's really nice. It's such a break in the travel, which has been, just great for our freshmen specifically because they haven't experienced that as much as the returners did of the 6 weeks on the road last year. So excited to get back at home and just put on a better showing than we did obviously last week. Also excited to just play a 3-game set. It'll be a good measuring stick of where we're actually at going up against the same team 3 times and give our young kids the freshmen, but also our transfers a good perspective on, what it's really like to go into a series before we actually have to do it in conference, which to me is the most important thing because conference is when all of this actually starts to count and matter. So
what does the competition from New Mexico look like?
Yeah, I think they dominate in the circle. That's probably their greatest strength. So it'll be a good matchup for us. And then getting just to see our pitchers go against the same type of hitters, how they make adjustments, and then on the opposite side, how our hitters go against the same pitchers and make adjustments as well. So excited. I think that that last game against Ohio State, our offense really came alive. So excited for them to build on that going into this week. And I think they're definitely more bought in and focused. I know it obviously wasn't a great result on the other side, but we're a better team than we were even the week before, and I know we're just going to keep getting better, and they're bought into the process, and I laid into them a little bit about that this week, that it is a process and you have to trust that it's going to all come together. It's not overnight, and I felt like the last 2 games specifically against Syracuse and against Ohio State, they really bought into that. And again, the results didn't fall in our favor by any means, but there was a lot more good than there have been in the past. So
and I mean, last year you guys started slow as well, but that didn't deter you. I mean, mid-conference tournament and all that.
Sure.
So how are you using that experience kind of into this season of, all right, we're still in the process, let's not panic, it's fine. Like you said, conference is really one event.
Yeah, I think our returners are really the ones that I want to push that message even more than myself because they have lived it. And for our, all of our newcomers, they have no idea. So this is no different for them. So it's more of rallying them and reminding them that it is the process and just to keep trusting, to keep showing up and do the work. We have a poster that hangs in our indoor and it says, the future doesn't belong to the most talented or the lucky, but it belongs to the most consistent. So just continuing to show up every day. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So there's a lot left to learn. There's a lot of games left to play.
And is there? I mean, if you want to play Division I, you have to be competitive. You have to have that killer mindset. Is there any kind of frustration that the team has felt, not necessarily getting in the win column, or is there kind of an understanding of, hey, we're still learning, we're still getting this experience, and that's what's more important than a win in pre-conference play?
Yeah, I think the biggest frustration has probably been just them not doing what they need to do to be successful as the team in itself. So I think that throughout every game we've had one piece go right, whether it's pitching, whether it's offense, whether it's defense. And so it's a matter of putting it all together. And it's not going to be perfect every game. We all know that, but we got to have a little bit of everything in order to be successful. It's really hard to out-hit somebody. It's really hard, when they score more runs, right? It's hard to play defense behind when we're walking a lot of people. I mean, there's just so many different factors that go into this game. So it's really just continuing for them to learn themselves, but also to buy into one another and, again, to own their role. And so they're going to keep getting better at it for sure.
And the fact that you have so many new faces, still trying to gel and still trying to kind of get to know each other. 11 games in the scheme of things isn't a lot.
Right.
So is that part of it of, hey, we're still trying to figure this out? this is how it's going to go, and we'll be fine? Is that kind of part of it?
Yeah, a big part of it. Also, just the standard. Like, the standard doesn't change just because the circumstances aren't falling in our favor. So I think that was a big part of the message this weekend. It's like, we have to stick to the standard. We got to stick to the things that we believe in, we know to be true, and the results will come on the other side. But you can't get weary in the middle of it.
And then the kind of experience that you get playing not only at UT, but playing it at night at UT with that kind of crowd. And then you play Ohio State, who was ranked before. You play a really good Syracuse team, a really good NIU team. The fact that you're getting all of this experience, especially with those new faces, just talk about the value that comes with that.
Yeah, it's irreplaceable. I mean, one of the Texas coaches actually approached me, and she's like, "You're playing a harder preseason than we are." And it's like, yeah, we are, because I want to be prepared. I want them to know what it's like. I want them to see the best before we get to, conference, and I know it'll prepare us. I have no doubt in my mind.
And then you have a little bit of time before that New Mexico series. How crucial is that you're able to get home, kind of reset, regroup, maybe get a couple of practices in and do all that before you play New Mexico again?
Yeah, it's big time. Like I said, just being able to scout one team and prepare for one team, it definitely does a different preparation than, in the weeks prior. So excited to get back to work with them. And they're, here hitting individually today, watching their film. That was a big topic of discussion as well this weekend, how important that is going forward and how that's going to grow you as a player as you continue to go throughout your career, because the more film is available, the more film your opponent has, and vice versa. So continuing to get better every single week. But they'll be ready, and I'm excited that we have this time at home to prepare, and that we have this opportunity, like I said, to have a 3-game set so early in the year.
And the fact that you mentioned it, you're back at home. You traveled a whole lot, even at your home game. You played 2 games, and then you went down to Austin.
Sure.
The fact that you're able to kind of stay home, you get to sleep in your own bed after those games. You get to relax in your own space. How key is that, especially with kind of 11 games in such a short amount of time?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity, and I talked to them as well about protecting our home turf, and so we definitely will be a different looking team than we were last week. I can guarantee you that.
Jaden Dawson has been a fantastic piece for you as a freshman. From the home run to even just being really loud at first base, kind of how big has she been through the early going?
Yeah, I mean, Jay is just a spark plug, and she has just such a unique personality and just perspective on things. She was a pitcher in high school, so I think that's one of the reasons why she's one of our best hitters, because she has an idea of, as a pitcher, what you're trying to do to a hitter, and then being on the other side, being able to be a hitter in that situation. So I actually told her this weekend, I'm like, you need to share your knowledge more. I need you to speak up in huddles about what you're seeing, what you're thinking, what, as a pitcher perspective, what you think they're going to be throwing you, because ultimately we can prepare them, and it is my job to give them the scout and to help them, but they're the ones playing the game. So being able to have somebody to pass on that information peer to peer is invaluable.
And then Emerson Meggers has continued to just be a really solid bat in the lineup. Have you kind of seen her even progress throughout 11 games?
Yeah, she just keeps getting better, and there's areas that she needs to improve as well. So working with her later today, and I think that is the best thing about this team is that, whether they got what they wanted personally this weekend, it's the work doesn't change. So they got to come back and keep doing it, keep staying in the process to get better.
Yeah. And then Ari Maxwell, one of the only players who started 11 games, she's been here a little bit. How have you seen her grow from last year into this year?
Yeah, Ari definitely has a more confidence within her, and we're continuing to grow that day to day and not panicking when something doesn't go your way, but knowing how to respond in the best way possible. So she'll keep getting better, definitely, and would love to see her just be a little bit more aggressive still. Sometimes when things don't go her way, she still is a little bit passive, so we're looking for her to grow in that way, and I know she will.